And there was a very strong Gingrich group at that particular meeting, and the Gingrich folks are still very much for me, and they'll be speaking up starting about noon today.
But isn't this the issue? I mean, if you just look at the raw numbers here and look at the politics, there's not one alternative to Mitt Romney. There's several of you who are vying for that evangelical vote down in South Carolina. We've seen this movie before, 4 years ago. Doesn't that help Romney?
Sure. Well, it does help him, and I think the only way that a Massachusetts moderate can get through South Carolina is if the vote is split. But we have 6 days to make our case to people, and I think as somebody who generally people agree was the best debater so far, I think I have the best chance to beat Obama. I think I also have the greatest likelihood, given the past, to actually change Washington. And as the Wall Street Journal pointed out, I have the boldest and most aggressive pro-jobs plan, as well as a record working with Reagan and working as Speaker with Bill Clinton of actually having created large numbers of jobs. So we're going to be making our case to national security conservatives, social conservatives, and economic conservatives that that Newt Gingrich is the best candidate to defeat President Obama. I think we're doing pretty darn well down here.
So your feeling is that despite what the social conservative group said over the weekend, Rick Santorum doesn't have any more momentum here. He's not the obvious conservative alternative choice to Romney?
No, I think the fact is, if you look at the actual vote yesterday, that we were very close in the vote, and that, in fact, the folks who will be speaking out starting at noon today, Congressman J.C. Watts, Reverend Jim Garlow, and others, are very committed to my candidacy, and I think we will go into the next week, this last week of the campaign, with a large amount of momentum here. The polls have all shown consistently that I am the strongest rival to Romney in South Carolina, and I think that the debate tomorrow night will be a very important part of that, and the debate Thursday night will be a very important part of that. And I think it's going to be a very, very lively week, one of the most important weeks in the history of the GOP, because I think nominating somebody who is essentially a Massachusetts moderate makes it much harder to defeat President Obama, and nominating somebody who is a Reagan conservative makes it much easier to defeat President Obama.
Well, let me pick up on that point, because this has been your charge. You talk about lively. I think about the debate last Sunday, which was fairly lively between all of you, and this is one of the charges you made against Romney. Let me play it.
I think that a bold Reagan conservative with a very strong economic plan is a lot more likely to succeed in that campaign than a relatively timid Massachusetts moderate.
Speaker, this is your flyer that you're circulating here in New Hampshire. It says very clearly, Romney is not electable.
I think he'll have a very hard time getting elected.
But then let's look at how conservatives in New Hampshire actually voted, having heard that pitch from you. These were some of the exit polling. 42% of conservatives voted for Romney, only 14% for you. And then how about this from the exit poll? Among those, whether they be satisfied or dissatisfied, 63% say they'd be dissatisfied with you. These are conservatives in New Hampshire where they actually are voting. How do you